sorry, I was standing with the mic. But I said my name is Rashad Mubarak. As a seminal filmmaker, I wanted to thank you for making art, because I mean it inspires us and lets us know that it's real. But my question had to do with the scene in the diner. I started noticing the use of like the blues and the reds, especially on Chiron's character. There was a lot of emphasis on him kind of being resistant and not accepting being there would be red. But then so at first I thought with I believe his name was Kevin, his character, I would see when he would walk to the corner there would be blues right there. And I kind of thought that, okay, well, maybe the blue was representative of the past. And I saw that he actually put on a blue shirt in the very next scene. But then I thought about like the beach scenes and everything else, and it made me think of acceptance. So I just want to get, what is your take
Yeah,
on
I mean,
that?
the color blue definitely has like currency, thematic currency in the film. I mean, Terrell's play is called In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. And so we placed the red lights, don't focus on those. We placed blue throughout the film. It's just the idea of once he walks in the diner, there's this doorbell that rings. Ding, ding. And then when he walks out, doorbell rings again. Everything between those doorbells is a bit heightened. You know, it's not playing the same way the other things did, and the colors don't mean the same thing they did before. You know, I don't want to place too much emphasis on it. I was going to a whole different place. I think it's outside this discussion, but if you noticed it, bro, it's for a reason, all right? And I'm just leaving it at that. Cool? But it wasn't as literary as you're making it. It wasn't blue and red and all that stuff, all right? Thank you.
My name is Donnie Leapart. I have a question for Barry. One thing I noticed, the character Juan, how much influence he may have had on Little all the way up to when he became black. There was a lot of similarities in his style, his dress, his grills, all of that. And so I wanted you to maybe speak on just that, if that through line was a conscious decision, and how the influence that black men, whether the boy is straight or gay, the influence that black men have on black boys.
Yeah. So the whole piece actually starts for Terrell. Terrell actually had a friendship with this local drug dealer around the way where we grew up. Terrell tells the story of these kids chasing him through the neighborhood, throwing rocks at him, and he crossed the street and the rocks stopped, and he looked around and he realized he was in a parking lot with all these drug dealers. And the way he describes it is, they were more concerned with breaking the windows than they were with breaking my head. And it always, something clicked in his head from that. And this drug dealer kind of took him under his wing. So the character Juan is the whole reason this project exists. And you're right, there are certain things that Black carries with him from Juan, because he's the only sort of like male paternal figure that's in this dude's life. I think he's performing some of these things from Juan in the wrong way. Like the scene when Homeboy is doing the accountant's off. You know, he's trying to be like Juan, but he's coming on way too hard. You know, I think he's gonna bash dude over the head. You know, it's not as Janelle said, this good nurturing. You know, it's kind of ill nurturing. But the biggest thing with that character was, you know, there are kids who have these men like Juan in their lives all the time, and at a moment's notice, they just get snatched without any sort of like due process. And so I wanted somebody who could embody that character, who was just an amazingly charismatic actor, like Mahershala Ali. And I hope when you guys were sitting in the audience, when he just wasn't there for the second story, you were like, where the hell is Juan? You know, I miss him. And these kids feel the same damn thing. And I wanted you guys to feel exactly what they feel when at a moment's notice, this person just gets snatched, and then you gotta fend for yourself. Sometimes it manifests itself in the wrong ways, because that person's not there to keep checking you throughout. That one was definitely on purpose, bro.
Hi, my name is Courtney. I'm a local filmmaker here in Atlanta, Georgia. First and foremost, thank you for telling this story, because as Black LGBT folks, we don't get to see ourselves represented on screen as much as we probably should. This is a two-part question for both Barry and Chavante. I'm curious to know, what was it like directing all three of the gentlemen, playing the same character, but still having them be able to show their specific gift in the role, but still having each of them, you know, play the same character and having those same nuances from each and every single one. And I would like to hear from both of you guys what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, for me it was probably the most enjoyable part of the process, because I didn't allow them to meet each other, so there was no rehearsal, and I never let them meet. So, because I didn't want them to mimic what the other person was doing. You know, I wanted to rely on certain camera techniques, the way we framed them, And just the casting process. Like I said, I wanted this thing in their eyes, but I also wanted them to be different people at each chapter. And so the way to do that was not to have, no offense, to have Trevante, try to pick up the way Ashton walks, or the way Little walks, because the years way differently on Ashton's shoulders than they do on Trevante's shoulders. So I didn't have them meet or rehearse or anything like that. But it was nice because we shot it mostly in sequence, and I had in my head, how the character needed to develop, how he needed to change. And these guys trusted me to be a barometer, to let them know, you've gone too far, Trevante, or you've gone too far, Ashton. And they all just came ready to play. How was it working with me, bro?
You were great, bro. Nah, but honestly, it was really liberating to have that. I mean, because I looked at it as if it was just 3 short films, in a sense, and really focused on the script. And the script was just incredible. He wrote a phenomenal script, and so everything was really just about investing in the script and then relying on Barry. So it was really, my part was, it was done right there, to be honest.
I will say one thing. There was only one section where I had to work with all 3 of them, like on the same day or back to back. So right before we did this film, Naomi was doing James Bond. Was it Spectre? She was like Spectre. The movie was coming out all over the world, and so she was like in Mexico City and Japan, and we were trying to clear her visa because that's how these things work. She's a foreign worker, so we had to clear her visa. And right before production, the visa didn't clear because our countries, despite speaking the same language, can't get on the same damn page. So we had to wedge all of Naomi's work into week 4 over the course of 3 days. And so Naomi shot all her work in 3 days, and it's the only time. And it's the only time in the film where I actually had to work with each of the Chirones at the same time. Because we shoot a scene with her, with Trevante, and then we had to change all her makeup, and now she's shooting a scene, with Alex. So, and those 3 days, because Naomi's essentially playing my mom, I'm a very professional person, as you probably can tell. I'm very cool, calm, and collected. But on those days, I was not cool, calm, and collected. And then I had the extra work to now I've got to direct, these different dudes and these different ages, and I got to remember in my head, oh, I'm talking to Ashton, I'm not talking to Trevante, I'm talking to Alex, I'm not talking to Ashton,
I mean, Naomi, where did you go to really get into that character? Because, I mean, you think about that last scene especially, was just tore your heart up. But talk about, just where did it come from? How you were able to bring that to the surface so vibrantly and so real.
YouTube was really the place, actually. Seriously, it was. It really was, because YouTube is like this incredible mine of information. So it has amazing documentaries on crack addiction, amazing documentaries on Miami in the 1980s and the war on drugs. I mean, like, incredible. And there are these extraordinarily intimate interviews that you can find with women with addictions who are just speaking to camera, or someone's uploaded an interview that they've done on their iPhone or what have you. And that was incredible, because it just meant I had this arsenal of information. I also had this one very kind lady who was in the throes of addiction at the time I spoke to her, and she was kind enough to share her story. And from all of that information, then I had to just kind of piece together a narrative and make Paula's journey come true. And come alive for me. And there are 2 things that really helped me. One was an interview where a woman likened an addiction to being in a relationship with a psychopathic lover. And by that she meant that, at the start of the relationship, when you're just getting into drugs, it feels incredible. Drugs make you feel like the most beautiful, the most confident, happiest person in the world. But then as the relationship continues and that person has their hold on you, or that drugs have their hold on you, they then start to ravage, abuse, and destroy you, by which time it's too late. You're stuck in this relationship because you're addicted or you're in love and you can't get out. And so that helped it to bring it to life. And then the second thing that really helped me was that every single case that I studied, or I saw an interview with a